And it's really a pleasure to have you all here for many reasons. The first is that this Open and User Innovation Conference is a conference that is close to my heart. I mean, my background is in this area of innovation and entrepreneurship. I do less and less research as I become more, involved in school administration. That's, I guess, it goes with the territory. But this is the most important conference in this area of how you think about innovation in a much more open perspective, and in particular in bringing the role of the user to thinking about these issues, and it brings a group of very, very committed researchers, and this is something that makes a difference. I have had the pleasure of knowing several of you, and so how much you really feel and how much you really have this sense of belonging to this community, and so having you here is really a pleasure. There's over 200 researchers here present from 20 countries, mostly Germans, apparently. This is something that we've been getting used to also, and I'll tell you in a second about that, because also in the process of internationalization of our school, the German seems to be the most important presence. But also I'd like to welcome the winners of the Patient Innovation Award that we've been hearing about in a little bit. I mean, they're coming all the way from the US, Canada, Israel, the UK, and also Portugal, and this is something that we're also here to celebrate. And the Patient Innovation, it grew out of a research project that we had here at Católica Lisbon that Pedro Oliveira has been leading, and this research project grew into a platform. It brought other communities and other schools together, Carnegie Mellon, MIT, the Faculty of Medicine here in Lisbon, and a variety of other collaborations. And it's now a platform that has had over 300 innovation in only 16 months submitted to this platform. And it became a very, very visible display of the power that this open and user innovation, in this case the patient innovation, can have. And of course we're very proud and very happy about this evolution. But since I'm here, let me tell you a little bit about Católica Lisbon, School of Business and Economics, that several of you may not have heard of. I mean, in fact, the school about 10 years ago was a regional school based here in Lisbon that had mostly a Portuguese presence. But over the last 10 years, the school has been transforming itself quite rapidly. And it's been transforming itself because it's been taking advantage of a very fundamental change that's been taking place in education in Europe. The establishment of the Bologna reform created for the first time a real market for higher education, and a market that has real large numbers, very significant numbers. And what happened is that the school realized that this was going to happen. And so when the Bologna reform that transformed the 4-year undergraduate into a shorter 3-year undergraduate plus a master, we realized that that was a unique opportunity for us to create a new school, a school that was based on what we've been doing in the past, but really took advantage of this opportunity. So we very quickly created a master's program that was geared to the international market, and we became very successful at captivating and bringing international students. We have now about 50% of our students in our master's programs are non-Portuguese, with the majority being precisely Germans. In our leading program, starting now in the fall, we're going to have 70% non-Portuguese students present. And this internationalization has also been taking place at the faculty. As the school's been growing, we've been hiring 3-4 faculty a year, and we've been striving to basically get the best faculty we can. And so that means that some of them are Portuguese, but most of them are not Portuguese. So over the last few years, we've been hiring a variety of different people coming from different nationalities. The biggest representation is not German, is Italian, in fact, followed by Brazilian, of course, other than the Portuguese. But we did hire our first 2 Germans that are going to join us in the fall, together with an American. But we have, anything from Ukraine to Canada, France, Finland, Iran, Turkey. The school has become quite international and quite rapidly. And with that came a lot of recognition and visibility. 10 years ago, we were not present in any of the rankings. We entered the Financial Times rankings in 2007. We've been, increasing our visibility there quite rapidly every year. And 2 years ago, we entered the top 25 of the top European business schools in the Financial Times rankings. But, all of our programs are ranked internationally. Our MBA program, for example, is now 36th in the world. 18th in Europe is a partnership with another school here in Lisbon, Nova, and also MIT, and it's a partnership that we're very proud of having. And this international dimension is also precisely taking a very important role in its research efforts. We realize that if we want to be a recognized school internationally, our research efforts have to be credible, strong, and very linked to other leading schools. And so our partnership with MIT, with Carnegie Mellon, and with a variety of schools across Europe has been quite important to establish the research foundations that we've been trying to build at the school. And this has become very visible again as part of this patient innovation initiative because, the seeds for this project started through our collaborations with MIT and with Carnegie Mellon. And this research recognition has been having other ways of being shown. Last year, the National Science Foundation here in Portugal held a national evaluation of research units across all fields of research in Portugal, and our research unit had the highest score across all research units in social sciences, which is the area in which we're based. And this was something that also made us very proud because it was an external recognition of these very important efforts and drive that we have around research. And in research in particular, innovation and entrepreneurship has been one of our core areas of development along with health. And one of the reasons that we have here the Patient Innovation Awards and this initiative because it really joins two of the key strategic areas that the school has bet its present and its future, which is innovation and entrepreneurship together with health. These are very two important pillars in which we're building and that we will continue to have an effort. And they also display something that's quite important for our school, which is to have the research recognition, but also to do it in a way that is practical. For a long time, that meant visibility in executive education. I mean, the school has always been a leader in executive education here in Portugal, and once we entered the rankings, that also became an international visibility. Even this year, we went up again in the rankings, 7 spots. We're 38th in the world in the Financial Times rankings for executive education. But the patient innovation and its visibility also brings this other dimension of this practical element, which is to have strong, important, visible research, but one that, as much as possible, also has impacts on the lives of people and on the dynamics of firms. And this, the patient innovation, again, our most wonderful example of these efforts and the achievements that we've been able to get so far. So let me finalize by a few thanks. I wanted to thank the sponsors of the Patient Innovation Initiative and Project, in particular the Fundação Carlos Gulbenkian, which is also our host, and that's another reason why we should be very thankful of all the support that we've been having from the foundation from the beginning of this project. Also, we've been having generous support from the National Science Foundation here in Portugal, Fundação para a Ciência e Tecnologia, and these international partnerships. And we have a variety of other sponsors that you'll be seeing here. I mean, they're already here represented in the slide that is here, and we really like to recognize and to thank all of them for the support, for the research that we've been doing, and for the patient innovation efforts in particular. So again, welcome to Portugal, welcome to the Open and Use Innovation, to the Patient Innovation Awards, and have a wonderful conference.